I'll tell you a story about that. Actually, which story am I going to start with? It has been a really different week around here for me. Well, there's only two or three kind of really unusual things, but I'm going to get to the biggest one in just a second. It is July 22nd. Wow, July is flying away from us. Tomorrow, going to Shakespeare Santa Cruz. That's one of the really odd things this week. Shakespeare, going to a play in a foreign language. Anyway, but I'll save that. That's the end of that story. Couple of really interesting things going on here this week. For me, I got to tell you about the first one first, or the biggest one, and why I just played that tune. This week I officiated and played guitar at a wedding. Now, you can imagine I've been to a lot of weddings, played guitar at a lot of weddings, officiated only at a handful. This was the fourth one, I believe. But this was the first one I ever played guitar at. That was the bridal procession, and it was about that. What I just played was about 10 times as long as it really was at the ceremony, because the bride really just appeared like at a sliding door, came over about 5 feet, and there they were. We were ready to go. So, but this wedding, I do have some tips coming up later today too. But I got to tell you about this wedding, because this was just Wednesday night, 2 days ago, and a longtime student of mine, somebody I've known for at least 25 years, was getting married to his longtime girlfriend, fiance, now bride. Not only was it international, it was interfaith, and so we had things done in 3 languages. 3, count them. It was zoomed to a lot of people here in the United States and a lot of people in Brazil, and there were only 7 of us there. It was very small, and a 2-year-old and a dog. 2 dogs, now that I think about it. So, anyhow, it was pretty cool. There were a couple of phones set up as cameras, and when I got there, one of the other guests, I guess, I was playing something. Oh, I was just messing around with the guitar. So there was nobody there, and I just was kind of practicing this. And from another room, wait a minute, how rusty is this? There we go. So I was just sort of, I hate to say warming up, but because I was just noodling around, and I noodled into Eye in the Sky. And one of the guests came in and said, hey, you were just playing an Alan Parsons song? I said, well, yes. And I said, what else? What do you want to hear? I just figured I'd take requests. And she said, well, I like Joni Mitchell and Neil Young and Jackson Browne. And I thought, oh, I can probably play some of those. Let me, and I started racking my brain. And the first song that popped into my head was this. Hang on a minute. I kind of just had to figure it out as I was going. Okay, I got it. I had to get the right words in my head. I started right in the middle of a verse. I was singing the wrong words. There is a dance we do in silence. Oh, it was a C, not a B. Oh, same harmonic? Did I G from here, there, and everywhere? Anyway, one of my all-time favorite Jackson Browne tunes. That is, of course, Our Lady of the Well from second album. What was that called? For Every Man. Anyway, so I kind of... things went on. We had, I read part of the ceremony. Another relative of the bride's read the whole thing in Portuguese for those in Brazil that were following along. And then the other guest who had asked me about playing those tunes did some of the Hebrew readings. Since I mentioned it was kind of an interfaith thing, we had some, let's see, well, the nationalities were kind of American and Brazilian. And then we had, it was Jewish and Christian of some sort. So we had references to all of that stuff. It was eclectic. I probably can't share the videos with you, but it was fun. Let's see. That was my unusual thing this week. I do want to talk about, let's talk about picks. Because the question came up about picks. And I mentioned that picks come in lots of different shapes, lots of different thicknesses, hardnesses. I like your normal teardrop shaped picks. You can probably see this, but what you probably can't see is it has texture on both sides, so it feels like a little bit of sandpaper on each. Now that is really cool. This one also has kind of a mandala thing on it. Sorry, I was thinking about, I've been doing too much geography lately, and it falls on the floor. I happen to have another one. Oh, this one is really cool. If you want a souvenir pick, let me know. I'll see if I can get you one of those. But anyway. Important thing about picks. Hold it with only one finger and your thumb. Do not put your middle finger on the pick. It tightens up everything, and you want to hold it as loosely as possible, and you want to make sure when you strum down across the strings that you drag it so that it's angled up. And when you come up across the strings, you want to angle it down so that it comes up, so it's dragging across the strings. And the ups should be smaller strokes. On a down, hit all the notes. On an up, 3 strings, max. If you want to work on double time strumming, go check the lesson on Take It Easy. If you're playing a song, I had a student working on it's not gonna, I can see his hand doing all this stuff. Oh. My Maria. And we were talking about when you're playing single notes, it's a good idea to have a light anchor down when you do that. Light though, not keeping the guitar from falling off your lap. But when you're doing something like that, if I do that with the anchor, very stiff. So what I had him do in the lesson was miss the notes. And just make it really blurry. Then try to tighten it up a little bit later. That's going to relate to the big tip for today, which is going to be related to fingerpicking and stuff like that, and trying to sing a song that has a complicated picking pattern in it. I don't have time to talk about the other stuff I want to talk about, but anyhow. Okay, so that's the short little pick thing. Hold it loosely. Strum down across most of the strings you can hit. Strum up across just the higher strings usually, except if we're doing something like a serious focused picking song like the Needle and the Damage Done. And just get comfortable holding it with your thumb, and it should be on the side of your index finger like that. I don't know if you can see that, but notice it's balanced right on the edge of my finger, and then my thumb goes down across the top of it like that. Okay. Been working on a few lessons. I do want to thank Nesh for putting together a lesson on Penny Lover. Hopefully you get a chance to check that out. It's, by the time you see this, it'll be up. It's still kind of a work in progress. So I've been working on I'll get to that. Song I've toyed with for years, and did see a request for that lately. So I really do appreciate the request. I even looked at the Kenny Loggins one, the real thing. Which sort of leads me to, yes, it is. Um, Notice he wasn't playing. He had like other guitar players doing the complicated stuff in the beginning. He joins in a little bit later when it's just kind of becomes a campfire song. So, but I also noticed Neil Diamond doing this. Okay, I'm going to get to the big tip now. Another one of my students was working on Play Me. And matter of fact, this was partly what inspired the lesson on Play Me. It was a little 6-note arpeggio with a few little fancy licks, but just keeping that 6-note pattern going and singing it was difficult. And as I pointed out, when we found videos of Neil Diamond doing this, he was never doing that. He was never playing the guitar. He had like a hired gun behind him doing that so that he didn't have to concentrate on keeping that going. This also reminded me of some Leonard Cohen songs that I had done lessons on that were that had very fast. Leonard had some really rapid arpeggio things going on in the background while he's singing a normal song that sometimes seemed kind of incongruous. But the other song, and then Stones was similar. Another Neil Diamond tune. Same guy Fred was working on Stones. And what was going on in Stones was you've seen songs that have what I call the 3-3-2 pattern. Meaning 3 notes, thumb, finger, finger, 3 more notes, thumb, finger, finger, 2 notes, thumb, finger. So it's the eighth notes of the measure broken up into 3-3-2 patterns. The real tip on this is when you're working on something like that is challenging on the guitar, and you want to work on singing it, work on those separately. Simplify the song. So instead of with Play Me trying to do this, and then get the phrasing of the vocals, instead of trying to do, if those two things are conflicting and messing you up, separate them. So had the same discussion with another student working on a Joni Mitchell song recently that had complicated chord changes in it and quick changes and odd timing of when the chords change, and it was the same thing. Let's simplify it. Just put the chord, just strum it. Stones. I want to talk about Neil Diamond Stones because it's even weirder. It's a 2-measure pattern. Instead of 3-3-2 like this, 1-2-3-1-2. There's what I call the 3-3-2 pattern with fingerpicking. It was a 3-3-3-3-4 pattern. It was 4 sets of 3 and then a set of 4. So to make that simple, I don't think I have a lesson on this. Is what happens in Stones, Neil Diamond. To make that simple, we worked on going what I'm really doing there is thumb, index, middle, 4 times. That takes up 12 eighth notes. I need 4 more. So for the last 4, I throw in 1 more of these, so I have 16 eighth notes, 2 measures. What else adds to the extra confusion in Stones is the high note switches every time from C to B, and back to C, and back to B, and back to C. Slower. Okay, there you go. Your exercise for this week. You do it a little faster. Okay, let's see. I did try one other Jackson Browne song at the end. Did I play? No, I didn't do anything else. We did the wedding song. Paul Stuckey, of course. That was pretty cool. And the groom sang it. So here we go. Another odd thing. The officiant played guitar. The groom sang a song, and people watched from getting close to midnight. No, it was about it was 11 o'clock, I guess, probably in Brazil when we were doing this 11 o'clock at night. So, the other one I played was this. Oh, the melody didn't work out very well to this, but let's see if I can do it. And I know, everybody knows this is not a Jackson Browne song, but he made it famous. Let's see if we can find the melody. Anyway, that was my wedding story for the week. Boy, another song I heard on the radio the other day, or not the radio, in my car as I was driving. Let's see if we can fake my way through this. What I do when I'm listening to songs is I figure them out. I try to figure out the chords while I'm like driving. And so I think I got this one right, but it's a song I'd heard many times. This is a Gordon Lightfoot song. But that leads me to something I talked about last week, and I'll make this a very short story, and then I'll try to end with the Gordon Lightfoot tune that is in my head. We'll see. I want to thank a few people that last week I mentioned International Guitar Camp coming up, and a few people jumped on it, some new people joined, and we're sold out. But if you're still thinking about joining, we'll put together a waiting list. Go to the site, hit the contact me button, and it'll send an email to us, and we'll put you in there. But we kind of maxed out at 35, except I've heard rumors of 2, maybe 3 people that are going to have to cancel. So very likely we'll have cancellations, and there's room on the waiting list. So if you want to join us, September 12th. Okay. This Gordon Lightfoot tune was in D. He may have been capoed. I wasn't paying attention to that because I was in the car. But it started on a D chord. And then it always started not on chord 1. Finally gets back to D. That was weird. It's in D, and it goes from B minor to A minor. Okay, the mystery song of the week. I'm sure a few of you recognize it. If you do, put the answer in the forum. Let's see. I think that was all I wanted to talk about, and I will be back next week, the end of July. Wow. Should I end with? Wait a minute. Let's try that again. that chord? Oh, it's A minor. Should have been A minor G. So those chords right there, they could go lots of different ways. It could be A minor to G to B7. It could be C to E minor with B in the bass to B7. It could be A minor to the E minor. All that led to total confusion while I was playing it. I never decided which way I was going to do it. But the beginning part was so cool. Okay, that's it. Gary Davis. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. I will see you next week.